Well, good evening and welcome back to this week's episode of the My Love of Golf podcast. Roscoe here, your host, and soon to be eagerly joined by the two men of the moment, Rocket Rodney Heron and Magic Mike Caridi. Busy men. I actually read Mike's name in a magazine today, fresh out of the Golf Digest. We might get the chance to talk about why Mike's name's popped up in a magazine. Rocket, he's had a flash 24-hour visit to Melbourne. Didn't go his way in terms of the Anzac Day football, but he probably won't want to talk about that. But I'm looking forward to catching up with my two favourite golf podcast guys for another episode. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the feedback, the support, the shares. We love it. We appreciate it. And it means the world to us. A group that is out there listening. We're a small collective, but we're a growing collective. And the guys that do share their stuff that we put out, we really do appreciate it. So thanks. We'll bring the guys in. But right now, it's time for the tune. Gentlemen, I don't know why I do that. I've started announcing the tune. Oh, right now I'm going to play the music. I don't know. I apologise in advance in arrears to the listeners why I introduced the music. I don't know. But anyway, Rocket won't let me take it out. We don't need to change it. But Rocket, how are you? I got it. You all right? You're good?
I'm good. I'm going to have the extra husky radio voice for this episode.
Deep and dulcet. Rocket, if you tune into the YouTube, you will see Rocket's background. I'll describe it to you. It's Rocket's wonderful face, smiling face, and his beautiful silver headphones, the right one of which is covering Shark's nether regions. His background, he's got that naked photo of Shark just about to bust a Cobra driver, and of course in the trademark straw Shark hat. So obviously we're going to talk a little bit about the ESPN 30 for 30, which we've all digested and watched. There's probably a lot more to talk about the Shark, with the announcements of the Live Golf and over there in his kickoff event in June. We've got last week's obviously heritage to talk about. Not too many exciting results in the world of global golf, but Mike got a couple of tips pretty close to the mark. Talk about a few other bits and bobs. So, Mike, how are you?
Pretty good. Firing
Excellent.
up. Big week ahead. Big golf grand final this weekend. So,
is that the GMGA golf grand final?
Yeah, grand final is Saturday. So Rocket, who's in Brisbane, we're getting 15 to 30 mil and 20 km/h winds and gusts up to 30. So it'll be fantastic.
But it's not going to stop you, Mike, is it? It's not going to stop you for busting out. It will take more than that to stop you, wouldn't it?
Well, I have already been to Drummond in the last few years and bought a new waterproof jacket and waterproof pants, and I have a Titleist Star Dry bag, so I'm ready to rumble.
Why don't you go the dry gloves and go double?
I've got those too.
Go Tommy.
I've got those. I've got the Callaway. Yes, I got the Callaway waterproof gloves.
Waterproof gloves. So you got cheek gloves with the cheek
gloves
stick.
with the cheek
Come on, we're officially dropping that. I've got a call from Callaway senior management the other day. Going, Ross, we love you talking about our product, but can we know what happened? It's all right. We all know about that. Just stop calling it those. Stop using those words. All right.
It goes a very long way, that driver.
Rocket, as you probably already know, Mike is the most prepared golfer, not only in the GMGA. I would put a lot of money on that, but he's one of the most prepared golfers that I know. So he is ready. I reckon you are.
I'm ready.
Yeah, the very fact that you've got the Stay Dry Titleist, you've got the what brand of wet weather gear do you have?
I've got a FootJoy jacket.
Yep,
which I really like.
They're the best.
And the pants I don't wear too often because I wear shorts all the time, and I'm not really fussed if my legs get a bit wet.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, he's prepared. Yeah. While we're talking about the GMGA, so I'll just sort of announce, what that is. The people who have been listening for a while will know that you are one of the central figures of one of Melbourne's many great social golf clubs. It's a great part of the golf scene, not only in Melbourne, but around, the societies, golf social groups, is whatever you call them, some of which organise their own handicaps, but they're usually a bunch of guys and girls, your ones, all blokes, but that come together, maybe a couple of times a month. They put schedules together. The people that organise it put wonderful amounts of hard work into it, organising. I know the sort of level of detail that your guys go to, Mike. And it really is a really great part of the golf scene in Melbourne, really important part. I know some of the social groups are under a bit of pressure because their membership is growing, but, getting tee times has been hard and all of that sort of thing. So, if you are one of the golf courses out there that do listen to this, keep looking after the social clubs because we need them. We need them as part of the golf scene. Mike, the GMGA, it's got a great logo. It looks like the PGA Tour logo. It says GMGA. It's a lot of fun. What's the stakes this weekend? What's up for grabs?
Up for grabs. Well, the main we play for a jacket. So it's a blue jacket with our logo embroidered on it, which is our number one. So that's what you want. And the rules that come with it are effectively, if you've got the jacket and you've won it and you've earned it, then pretty much anyone that's in earshot that is part of the group pretty much needs to buy you a drink at any given time. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean after the round. That could be to go into the races next week, wear the jacket. You're more than welcome, and then you'll be drinking for free all day. So that's
if you wear the jacket.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So we're in Sorrento this weekend. So if you're at the Sorrento Hotel and you do see someone walking around in a jacket, if it's me, don't ask me for a beer because I won't be buying any beers. But if you do see someone, make sure you pat them on the back and congratulate them. There is cash prizes. There's a trophy. So it's a big event. It's our 10th year this year. So it's a big one. We've probably got about 20 something playing in the final. Effectively, it's 10 tournament season. Normally starts just after the AFL Grand Final and runs normally up until Easter, but we're a bit later with COVID late start. And we've got a staggered start. So effectively over the year, you have your Stableford wins, and you get like Formula One, you get points, and the leaders go off in the last group, and they have we play Stableford on the day, but if you are in the number one seed, you start on 10 Stableford points. So effectively, the boys that are in the last group are off 10, 8, I think 6 and 6. And then the second to last group, we're all off 4. And then it sort of drops down to a few boys that are off 2s and 3s and 0.
So like a FedEx Cup style points advantage.
FedEx Cup final. So there's a net and a gross. But
no wonder Rory McIlroy and John Rahm are spurring away the advances from Live Golf because they're just waiting for the money for the GMGA to get and the TV rights to be at the right point. They're like, we're coming down under.
That's it
for the blue jacket.
Well, we've already got Scotty, one of the members. He was on. He's featured this week on Gowie's show.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That's as close as we've got to TV.
Well,
but no, it's going to be a big night, and we all stay down in Sorrento for the night. Sorrento pub, and then that. But we travel around for the final. We sort of go around everywhere.
Vanilla slice.
It depends. If I win, I'll have lots of beer, and I'll think about food later. If I lose, I'll be eating ice cream and chocolate vanilla slice. Definitely.
The vanilla slice from the place up on the main street.
From the main street.
Yeah.
It's not a vanilla slice, it's a vanilla slab. It's that big. Hey, the tradition that you talk about, the blue jacket, and if you have the blue jacket on, everyone that's part of that group has to buy you a drink. That's how I remember growing up. We talked about Cessnock Golf Club and Cessnock last week and remembering Jack Newton. They had the monthly, it wasn't a monthly medal, it was a monthly mug. And you got a pewter mug, like the same one as we all got probably when we were 21st. And if, at any time, if you turned up with your mug and just whacked it down in front of someone, they had to fill it.
Yep.
So not only on the night that you won the monthly mug, you proudly got to prance around that every night that you chose to drink at the golf club and whack it down and just share it around, and people had to fill it up. And that's how you rolled for the month, and away you went.
Yeah.
I didn't play golf there when I was 18, so I never won a monthly mug. All I got to win alcohol-wise was remember the Johnny Walker hole-in-one? And you guys won't remember because it was a long time, probably before you were even playing golf. But Johnny Walker used to sponsor the hole-in-one competition. It was like it's part of like the magazine type thing. And, you got a certificate from Johnny Walker and you got a bottle of scotch. Yep. 1987, I had my first hole-in-one, first and only. I was too young, but the guys that I was playing with took the bottle of scotch. They were very happy. The two young fellas that were 18, they were wrapped because they knew I couldn't get it. So they was like 2 half bottles of scotch. Let's go. Anyway, we were going to talk about 30 for 30, the Greg Norman, but you mentioned Scotty McGregor, the great man Scotty McGregor. What TV show was Scotty part of? Was he part of the Neighbours crew? Or Home and Away?
So Scotty was on Neighbours for 10 years up until recently, and he's done a bunch of other things. People would have seen him on TV before, Underbelly and a few other things. Yeah,
So he featured on Your Golf Show, which is proudly sponsored by Drummer Golf and Big Swing Golf. He was one of the participants playing with Gowie last night. How do you reckon he went? Let's give Scotty McGregor a 30 for 30 wrap on review.
He gave us fair warning. So
the copper.
Yes. Yeah. The copper. That's it. From Mark Brennan.
Neighbours. Yeah. He died and come back.
He I don't watch a show, but I have been told that.
Not that I've seen the show or anything.
To be fair, I've travelled with him. I've been overseas with him, and it's amazing how many people watch Neighbours and know who he is.
Yeah, because he had to fake his death because he went undercover for like a year or so, and then he came back after he finished whatever assignment it was.
In fairness, we should have had Scotty.
Not that I've watched Neighbours.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah.
Well, we should have had Scotty on. Like we should have had him down here sitting on the screen talking about us through his appearance with Gowie. But anyway, how did he go with Gowie?
He said he was pretty nervous, and it came across in the show. He was his forte was chipping by his own admission, so there was a bit tricky to throw him in down the Yarra Bend. It's the par 5. I want to say around 14th, right down the bottom there, and had to have a couple of chips, and he didn't do too well with the chipping. He's a couple of shots off the into the par 5 went pretty well, and he did pretty well with the longest drive. But I think it was more just it was just good to have someone on TV that you've seen before. I know Pappenhausen did the 2 episodes before, and I think Daisy Thomas had done the one in the middle, so he was the third man up. Yeah,
Paps did the first one, coming third in the nearest to pin challenge. Although Scotty's coming second by virtue of having a big backstop up there after thinning it through. But
he was a bit stiff. He's like Scotty's handicap. I think he said it was about 13. Now I sort of floated around 9, 10 for a long time. But if we went out and played 10 rounds of golf, we would split it down the middle. Absolutely no worries. And I've played golf with him where he's shot, he played to a 3 or 4 handicap. But like everybody else, you have good days and bad days, and I think he just probably saved one of his poor chipping days for one that was going to be on TV, so he's a bit stiff.
The interesting thing, obviously, chipping and poor chipping, and Scotty, if you listen, and hopefully you do, thank you for it. I empathise with the chipping. The listeners know it's not my forte, and I've subscribed to every different coach's theories on chipping. During the journey, I've got a coach in my store that, just walks past me and watches me chipping in the big swing simulators and just laughs and shakes his head, because he says, well, it looks different to last week. It looks different to the week before that, and the week before that. I can't help you anymore, mate. I was doing a bit of work with Dom, and that made sense to me. And then I've got Mike Ferroni that I've always get a bit of a sort of heads up from. And then you read all the stuff, like everyone, I go to YouTube or I go to online and I see all this stuff, and it's prolific in the online world, and the instruction. What I say to Scotty is, Paul Gow's way is different to the other coach's way, is different to every other coach's way. So he's clearly got some work to do, and he's got to find something that works better than the current way that he chips. I get that. If Gowie's way, and it makes sense to me, but I know another coach would do something different. If it didn't make sense, just find someone that can help you your way. And if that didn't make sense, try something else.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's a good. Look, obviously that's the whole point of the show, is they find something that you're not great at, and then he gives you a lesson on the show. And to be honest, I don't think I've seen him chip that badly for a while. So I think he was just literally just stiff. But I think Scotty probably summed it up. He's probably at the point now where he's probably not one to get one-on-one lessons. I think he might even talk to Marcus about getting some chipping lessons or some lessons down at PK. But I think it's just more than anything, just likes getting out and having a hit. And he's in the number 2 seed this week. It's in the final, so
really?
He can't be going too badly.
Scotty, if you want to double up on the Marcus Fraser lesson package, I'm happy to join you down there. I spoke to Fraser. I spoke to Fraser the other week about getting some face-to-face instruction on the surrounds of PK, and I think that for me that's a big thing. Like getting taught on the surrounds that I play at week in, week out. So Fraser's down there, had some new signs going up today. He's got the PK Academy signs mounted. Speaking of PK. I sent you a picture today. I've scoped out several entry points off the main roads that the big entryways can be erected. Fed that back to Mike Cocking. I found a car park, a very extensive car park. If we get the tournament arranged in school holidays, just over the back there's a school. There's actually two schools within, like one's joining the border. You could fly the helicopters in there. You can park 1,000 million cars in there. Fantastic. So really from that side, Mike, I've done my bit. I've done a couple of flyovers with the drone. So
when you said you were looking and you found that spot,
yeah,
were you looking for your ball in the trees or?
No, it's at the back.
How did you find it?
It's at the back. It's at the cricket oval. They've been playing cricket and footy there for years. Like you'd be teeing off on the 13th North, and you're in the middle of the backswing, and all of a sudden you get the the siren for the third quarter. So it's a school, and they've got ovals over there. So there's 1,000 car parks there. Beautiful, just straight off Sky Road, easy.
The number of messages that I got just directly to me post the podcast the other week asking about, geez, it sounded tense when talking about PK, especially when Mike's just dropped a few bombs. And I said, that's nothing. You should see our group chat.
He didn't drop any bombs. He just went with the easy way.
I am, and by hand up, I am the person that will always go to logic and infrastructure. Doesn't matter whether we're talking about this or anything else. That's what I do every day.
The messages I got were like, oh my God, I heard it. I can't wait to go and see the look on Ross's face on the YouTube.
Shaping up.
On the YouTube feed. And you should see our group chat.
I'm getting tetchy now. But Mike, can you stop sending me like the stop by stop slowest train journey from Melbourne to Frankston?
I thought one day you might be at Flinders Street and need to get the train to Frankston, and I just thought I'd send it to you and show you how many stops there were.
Mate, I know. I did that train journey for 5 years, mate. I've fallen asleep at every stop. I've parked my car at Cannonook Station and ended up at Frankston several times. So I know the journey. Don't worry.
No, I'll be driving anyway, no matter what happens.
I'm going to quickly go back to Mr. McGregor's chipping, or Sergeant Brennan.
Yep.
My tip would be just grab a bag of balls and go somewhere where you can just throw them all around a green and just do that a couple of times a week. Spend a couple of hours just chipping, and don't be afraid to hit skull shots, fat ones, thin ones, whatever it is. And just that's the easiest way to fix your chipping is chip more.
I did
because
that.
It's all touch. It is more touch than a putter.
Touch and confidence. That's for me. Like I was hitting a few. Actually, I think it was Ross's fault. I was hitting a few. I'm touch wood. I'm actually a pretty good chipper. And when we had fitted the other week, it was 3 months ago, 4 months ago, Ross was talking about something with the wedges, and I was knackered, and I hit a few, and I absolutely hossled a couple, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I went out to play the next time, and I did it again. I'm like, where did this come from? I haven't done this in 10 years. And so what I did was went down to my local. What he said, put 10 or 15 golf balls on the ground and was just chipping and hitting these little spinners and just going, right, I know I'm more comfortable. I know where I'm going to sit this ball, and hands need to feel like this, and just hit a few off. And I'm like, right, and then it's been fine ever since. Like you said, just practice. And
my joke.
Just think chipping is going to be less pressure than investigating Paul Lassiter.
You do watch his show, don't you?
Scotty McGregor has to listen now.
I'm going to have to send it to him.
Chipping will be less pressure than trying to investigate Paul Lassiter for all the dodgy things that he did over the 30 years.
I do a lot of golf club fittings, as you both know. I've lost count with how many people I've fit for golf clubs, from beginners through to reasonably qualified golfers. But with the beginners to intermediate golfers, when we're doing the driver, which is obviously a really important one to get right, everyone wants to hit it longer and straighter. We see some interesting driver swings. And my job I'm not a coach. My job isn't to coach when you're doing your fitting, but sometimes I want the player to experience what hitting the driver like with the fullest effect is possible. And just to get that one centered strike with the best possible launch and carry, and then they can go and do and put whatever swing they want on it. But I want them to feel what that's like with the right shaft and so on and so forth. And sometimes that requires me to maybe do a few tweaks to Obviously setup, I think setup's the most important thing for the driver. So if I can change someone this is someone who's got a fair degree of efficacy anyway, but just change the setup and a little bit of spine angle, a little bit of the shoulder tilt, a little bit of the alignment, a little bit of the concept of how the club's entering into the hitting zone, and just to get that sort of feeling. And you see people go, wow, that's great. Okay, well, you can do it once, so repeat it. And then all of a sudden, we've got another 30 meters, and it's not come from the golf club. It's come from delivering the club effectively. And then we get into the other clubs, the irons, when we get to the chipping, I say, look, you've got some chipping issues. I'll get you the right bounce and grind and all that sort of thing, but I can't help you, mate. And if I start giving you chipping advice, run. Just run and don't come back. And my point is, you don't give up, Scotty. And this is my theory on with my chipping. You said to Gowie, you go for the putter. And I was that guy that went for the putter. I went for the hybrid. I went for the 3-wood. Yeah. And my mates at Mornington, would walk off the second tee. And I probably told the story. Yeah, I'd be walking off the second tee and I'd be a meter off the green, off the tee. And they're walking past laughing, going, just write him in for a 5, because they just knew that I had this terrible reliability. I couldn't get the ball on the green from 2 meters away.
Yeah.
But I didn't give up. I've not given up.
I'm not against people putting. Like, I'll do it. I think it comes down to what you're comfortable with. I see a lot of golfers, and good golfers, like better golfers than me, that'll automatically go to a wedge and they're 2 feet off the green.
Oh, of course.
And they'll literally be like, that's what I see the pros do on TV. And they're trying to hit this little shot and they end up 8 feet away, and I'll get a putter out and hit it to 2 feet. And I'll be like, I'm not fast. I don't care how pretty this is. If I can get this close, I don't care.
Of course. But I think what happens for people, and I've been in and still am somewhat in this position where, you just want to avoid trying to put the lofted club on it. So you'll go for you'll go for a longer along the ground thing. And sometimes that's not easy as well. But
if you wanted to, he won't be listening to this either, but there's another, and I don't want to make this all about the GMGA in our 10th year, but there is one boy in our golf group, Michael Dinotta, I'll call him out. He actually at one point used to carry 3 putters in his bag. I don't know why, and 2 3-woods, and he will putt from 80 meters out. I've never seen anything like it. Under a tree, putt it out. Doesn't want to chip, putt it out. It's the best.
We'll go off on another tangent. Scotty, you're more than welcome to join us on the podcast at any stage. If you want to jump on, I'd love to have you on as a guest, whether for an interview about your golf, one-on-one, or with the guys. No problems, Scotty. Thanks for listening. The Club Pro guy that made that club, have you seen it?
I don't. I don't rate Club Pro guy. I don't follow him at all.
I don't follow him at all, but Chris, Golf Guy 77, Chris over there in the States, our friend who we've all played with, he bought the Club Pro guys. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's a 3-sided club. And the third side is the toe side, and it's called the camel toe. And he recently posted something where he sent the club for USGA approval. I'll dig up the letter. It was so funny. Probably everyone's seen it, but anyway. You're talking about chipping.
I haven't seen it.
Talking about chipping and putting and hitting it on the ground, that just reminded me of, like, we sell a lot of chippers. A lot of people resort to the chipper. But, like...
Called a 7-iron.
Well, I've
down on the shaft, down to the bottom, and it's called a 7-iron, and use a putting stroke, and you're done.
Exactly.
Easy to say when you don't have the chipping yips. But I've many a time walked past the chippers. I've many a time walked past the chippers and gone, should I? Shouldn't I? Should I?
No.
Shouldn't I? Should I?
No.
And I've obviously always gone with the shouldn't I? I shouldn't. But
7-iron, grip down, use a very stiff arm putting stroke, and you are fine.
Some people have great success with the chipper. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto that. Talking about PK, going back to that, I just see Mike, and I had the magazine somewhere. There it is. We should talk about this. Today's episode, today's mail turned up. There's a Golf Digest magazine.
On sale tomorrow.
On sale tomorrow. So did you get yours today?
Yep.
I got mine yesterday. Turned up. But, no, it's not actually. I'm part of the other golf top rate. This is the quality you get, listeners. You get 2 of the golf magazine's top 100 panelists on this podcast. I'm not sure there's many other podcasts where represented both magazines in Australia that do top 100 ratings, representing both magazines. But I turned up today. Peninsula Kingswood number 5 went up a position. So thanks to all of the Golf Digest crew that helped Peninsula Kingswood go up the rankings to number 5.
I'm just trying to remember where I ranked it.
That doesn't matter. Number 1, Royal Melbourne West. Surprise, surprise. Number 2 was a bit of a surprise for me. I thought that Kingston Heath, it's not a surprise, but it is a surprise. Kingston Heath, number 2. Number 3, what was number 3? Barnbougle Dunes.
Yep.
Number 4 was
Wickham.
Cape Wickham, and then number 5, Peninsula Kingswood.
Yep.
Rocket.
I didn't. Sorry, just before Rocket. Okay. I didn't visit RM or Kingston Heath in the period for rating, so I didn't rate them. So of the ones that I rated though in the list that I had, it's funny because it matches up exactly. Barney, Dunes, Wickham, PK North. Bang, bang, bang.
Rocket, when I yell out those 5 courses to you, how does that sit with you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No arguments.
What was the top 10, Mike?
No, I don't have them. I don't have it in front of me. In that middle page, it is.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Yeah. So what's 6 to 10?
Let's go through the top 10 of the Golf Digest.
So number 10 is Royal Adelaide.
Number 9 is Victoria. Number 8 is
can you say which one went up and which one, or if they've stayed steadies?
Can do.
Royal Adelaide was 10, so that was that up?
Up 1.
It went up 1. Victoria stayed the same. Royal Melbourne East at number 8 stayed the same. Barnbougle Lost Farm, number 7, stayed the same. New South Wales moved down a position. Number 5, Peninsula Kingswood North seemed to have swapped with New South Wales to number 5. Barnbougle Dunes stayed at number 4. Cape Wickham came down from position 2, and Kingston Heath was elevated to position number 2. So Cape Wickham 3, Kingston Heath 2, and Royal Melbourne West by Alistair McKenzie, 1931, and then Tom Doak ongoing, listed as the consulting architect ongoing there in number 1.
What was 11?
National Mooner.
12?
Metro.
Yeah. Metro used to be like 5.
Yeah. There's so many new courses that come
in the last 20
years.
What's 13?
Ocean Dunes.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. 14?
Cathedral.
Okay.
Haven't seen it.
15?
Gunnamatta. National Gunnamatta.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Either.
And then Peninsula Kingswood South. So that moved. Peninsula Kingswood South was noted as moving up 4 positions, rightly so, in my opinion. But obviously that top end of the tree, it's fairly stacked with.
And then after South?
South was Lake Carrinup.
Yeah.
So just quickly rounding out the top 20, Lake Carrinup at number 17, number 18, the Lakes, number 19, the National Old, and number 20, Kooyonga.
I haven't played Kooyonga.
Yeah.
Kooyonga in South Australia, over in the sandbelt of Adelaide.
Yeah, Metro's problem is that probably just needs a bit more love again. Well, there's a couple holes that probably just they don't work anymore, and it probably just needs a bit of a. It's not a redesign or a re-architect. It just needs a little bit of love. I know they were trying to do that on the first. There's a couple of holes they were tweaking last time I played it, which was like about 5 or 6 years ago. And I know that one of the challenges that they had is that because of the condition the course was in, I'm pretty confident that we stole a couple of their head greenkeeper guys. So I think conditioning wise, it copped a bit during the drought season, like for 2016, 2017, 2018. And I think it's kind of just fell a little bit out of love. And obviously PK hasn't helped that. But at the same time, if you call, yes, I'm a member at PK, but the call it the bias, but as a venue, it's the North course is just amazing. I've played it before it was renovated, and then I played it afterwards, and it's something special.
If you want to see a little video of the South Course, the first hole little flyover, I've got one on my Instagram there. I was just practicing the drone and just popped up the other Sunday night. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till next year for the Eagle video shot. Then we'll have to try and reenact it, Mike.
Hey, I've driven the green twice in morning and afternoon. I don't know that I could do it again.
So I don't know if you saw what I posted about your little flyover, Ross.
Yes, I did. Just to paint the picture for people listening, going, they're having an internal chat again. I was flying the drone on my way to posting a 4 over par 76 at Barnbougle Dunes. By the way, first round, cold start, camera in hand, drone in the other hand. Yeah, got to the hole 4. Thought I'll put this up now because it's the hole that everyone loves to see with the massive bunker, the biggest bunker in the Southern Hemisphere. Sun's coming up. It's just perfect.
Mike's putting for an eagle. Perfect.
Yeah, so I've got some time because, Mike's already on the green. So, and I'm flying the drone, buzzing it around. I thought I'll get that shot and I'll fly it up and then I'll fly it down and do all that sort of stuff. And they're putting out while I'm flying the drone. Did you get the eagle putt? Eagle putt. Oh, really? Yeah. Probably. Not sure. It was the only putt of the group that I didn't get. Mike's eagle on 4 at Barnbougle Dunes.
What you missed was Rocket galloping across the green to high five me. That was probably more
before
impressive.
The ball was going in.
That was more impressive than the putt.
But at that time, I had a lovely close up of the ocean. Dear. Sorry, guys. Anyway, hobbies. Okay, well, we've filled enough space. 32 minutes of jibber jabber. Thanks for listening. This podcast is brought to you by who's it brought to you by this week? Who have you got? Oh, Mike, you got a T-shirt on there? Yeah,
I do.
Okay. Oh, no, it's mine. Rocket, what have you got on? What are you wearing?
A work one.
Okay. It's brought to you by King Island Cheese. It's a great cheese that I got last week.
Was that you cooking the baked brie? Who was cooking that?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic. Can I get some of that?
I had the smoked cheddar again on the toasties today.
I got some. I went to the office last week and grabbed some, but I haven't had the I shouldn't say this because I sell it every day, but I haven't actually had the berry baked brie yet, which we sell. But I think that's going to be a really good one through winter.
Of course, that was a joke to say that it was brought to you by King Island Cheese. But if you want to bring some cheese to the next team meeting, Mike, the berry it comes in a pack. I didn't, I said to Mrs. Molotov, so what's this jam? So it comes with the cheese. Really? And I went rifling for the box, and there's this box, and you cook the cheese, and then you put the berry compote all over it on your bread. Beautiful. Yep. Anyway, there's the food segment.
Love it.
There's the food segment done. Last week.
Zurich Classic. Oh, was that you want to talk about golf?
Yeah, let's talk about golf.
Yep.
Zurich let's make it not too long. It won't be long. Boring last week.
It was.
This week will be even more boring.
All right, because we've got to talk about Greg Norman. That's right.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
That's the back half.
Well, this one's easy. Zurich Classic was boring. Xander Shoflet was a pairs event. Shoflet and Cantlay paired up. They were the red hot favourite, and they won comfortably. And it was boring. Nothing really happened. It was the only thing that happened that was interesting was they shot some ridiculous scores. Round 1, they had 59, then they had 60 in round 3, which is some good going. But yeah, they smashed the field. It was nothing happened.
No, I didn't watch anything because I was too sick. And then we can go to the LA Open. I watched a bit of it, but the telecast was terrible because they would show a couple of shots, and then all of a sudden it'd be this blank space for 10 minutes. And it's this was really hard to watch. It was really hard to watch.
It was I was more interested in looking at the course. I actually thought Hannah Green might get a lot closer than she did, but she didn't. She lost by 5. But yeah, it just comes up again. The Aussies just love that West Coast, that California.
Especially if you got to hit, if you've got to be really good with your irons, it's look at Minjee Lee, who won there in 2019. She finished T third. Yeah. And if you go down the list, it was all just good, solid iron players.
Yep. No, it was a it was a good week to watch. I was baffled by the course because they had a par 3 as the 18th.
Yeah.
But that's not normal. That's normally the 10th or something.
Yeah, because I think I'm trying to remember what it is. They've tweaked it by like just a couple holes, because I think 17, 18 is now 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just remember because I'm not don't love a par 3 last hole.
What?
Don't like it.
Oh, I've done some of my best work on final hole par 3s. They're great in match play.
I feel let down.
What?
Yeah, like the Lakes in Sydney's a par 3 last, I think.
Oh, that's no offense to the Lakes, but I don't like that as a par. It's not interesting as a par 3 finishing hole because it's just bloody long.
That was an interesting par 3, but yeah, I don't know. I actually messaged.
How about the Monday pin? Oh, first round pin. Because you got that big kidney shape, and it was parked in. The wind was up, and it was parked in that front left corner.
I was watching him more day 2, and I saw it. And Shackelford put something on Instagram, and I wrote to him, "Why is it? What's going on here? Why are they playing the par 3?" He's like, "Oh, they've done this." I'm like, "Why did they do that?" Like, I just baffled. And he said they can get more people around that hole for the 18th hole. It's like, okay, I still don't love it. Like you said, if it was a match play, cool, I get it. But no, imagine it was a playoff, and they got him going up 18, hitting par. I don't know.
Perfect.
I don't know.
It's even better.
Nah, I reckon you'd. Don't know.
Shootout. It's a shootout.
Winner.
No, it's a shootout.
Closest to the pin wins.
I still remember some of my best work in pennant on courses with 18th hole as par 3.
Barry Montuna has a wonderful uphill par 3 closer. I remember sealing a 2 there.
My old club, Tasmania Golf Club. Yeah. Stuart Appleby's very first win, 18th hole at Tasmania Golf Club, 170 metres uphill. There was a back left pin onto basically a dance floor. He's hit a 4-iron into the wind to a 1.5 foot. Birdie the last for his first professional win in his second start.
I can't. I was trying to think of some more. Outside of obviously public 9-holers, I can't.
Not many.
Yeah.
Kingston Beach down in Tasmania.
Maybe it's a Tassie thing.
Hold a 4-footer in the dark with the lights from the clubhouse to win my pennant match.
The VB holder
36 hole final. 5 down with 8 to play.
Sorry, I was going to put some music on for you, Rocket.
Putting on
a little bit of 5 down with 8 to play, and hold a 4-footer on the last to get to square the ledger.
Dear,
have my captain coming in to take out Royal Hobart.
Sounds far more interesting than my breaking 20-footer to have the match. To think that I've won the whole thing for the club at Berwick Montuna. Berwick Montuna is that steep uphill that it's got a pull rope. It's got an electric pull rope. You walk past, you push the button, and the rope pulls you up. And anyway, I sunk this putt, and I've given it the double fist pumps. I'm not just, I wasn't very emotional. It's still the name. I'm giving it the double fist pumps. All the teams standing around there, they've all got a can of sponsors product in their hand. Probably the third of them because I've been waiting for my match to finish. I'm thinking I've got it, and they're just laughing. They're just laughing at me. I'm going, what's happened? Why? He said, well, you got to go and finish this match, and we've already been beaten. Oh, Jesus. So we lost 4-3, and I made the putt, and we'd already. No, it was 5. We couldn't win. My match had no bearing on it, but I had to go down back down the first, and we halved that. Back out to the second, we halved that. Got out to the third, which is the furthest part from the clubhouse. I missed a putt. He gets it. He wins. They've won 5-2 or whatever it was, and we walk all the way back up, and they're now eight sponsors products deep, and I've got to drive them all home because anyway, it was good fun times. All right, PGA Tour. So we've talked about the women this week. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, this week Mexico. Exactly what I think you were about to say. Is that right?
Yeah, Mexico.
Mexico this week. Very, very ordinary field, except for John Rahm. Yeah, John Rahm's the only one that people are going to be
Cameron Champ
cheering for. Yeah, no, I think they've never been here before, so it's a Norman course. It's Mexico. It's I'm sort of done. When I've had a look at it, I've kind of tied in a little bit of Mayakoba form. It's another Norman course down that way, but it's all guesswork at the minute. Effectively, Rahm's Tiger odds to win. Like in the betting market, he's $5 in a 120-man field. Answers second at $19, which is, you don't ever see that. That just explains how poor the field is.
We keep talking about the legend of Jack Newton Jr. days, and the Aussies in the field. This resembles the Jack Newton Sub Junior Classic. We've got Mark Ensby, we've got the Snake Charmers, we've got Bads.com, and Matty Jones.
Matty Jones has been a pick for some people.
Number 6th ranked player in the field.
Yeah, a few people have been talking him up. I know that Tool Junkies boys, DB didn't mind him this week. I don't. I won't have a cent on John Rahm. I won't be betting him much on this tournament at all. But the ones that sort of came up to the top of the lake was Rahm. No shock there. No, he's not playing. Abraham Ansah, Aaron Wise. I don't mind the original Wise guy. Aaron Rye, 2-glove Aaron, and then Adam Long and Brendan Todd. Now, if I'm mentioning those two names as people that I don't mind this week to win, that pretty much tells you how good this tournament is.
Anything on Inman? I think he's from Mexico. Inman. Probably doesn't even come up there.
If he does, he won't have any history, but I can find out. And while I'm looking for it, people don't forget to put your tips in, because your tips are back this week.
I've put my tip in, and I'm going to be so excited to watch this. No, I'm not really. I'm probably going to watch replays of hot dog eating contests on KO.
Nice.
Okay.
Can't find Inman. Doesn't mean you're not playing.
Who are you tipping? Who'd you tip, Rocket? I haven't done mine yet, but who'd you tip?
Rambo.
Rambo, okay.
I need a win.
Yeah, okay.
Not the worst bet. I've taken Aaron Wise.
What's the prize money? Is it worth throwing a Rambo down for what's going to be like $2 million number one purse? If that?
I don't think it'd be that much,
no.
But I can tell you it is. Well, the purse is 7.3. So yeah, don't know in total. But they won't,
one and a half.
Yeah.
1.5 for first.
Yeah.
It's not bad down in Mexico.
We've got to catch the Shermanator. Shermanator's on 7 million. So we've got to catch him.
Yeah. Geez, so I'm just going to have to burn my Brahm pick. I have to now.
Yep. Look, you got to use them at some point. You just got to find, if you can find the win, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You're not going to save Rahm for the Open?
Take Country Club.
He's taking Tiger at the Open.
No. Sorry, I'm thinking the Open I reckon Rahm could go right around St Andrews. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, DP World Tour. You were very close there.
Very close. Very close. We won. Don't worry about that. That was that's paid for new pair of shoes.
Half a Minwoo?
No, it'd be like a fifth.
Like a fifth.
No.
Quarter Minwoo.
It was nearly half a Minwoo. Yeah.
Half a Minwoo. Yeah, not bad.
But, not a bird.
No, it was good. It was worth getting out of bed for and staying up late, because I watched the Grand Prix, which was terrible because Ricardo crashed on the first corner. And then I kept watching and was flicking between the F1 and the golf. And I am the morning person, Pga Tour, so I'm never up that late watching. But Pablo Larrazabal was as fired up like he was playing Ryder Cup. He was fist pumping, everything going in. He was on fire. And Otegui was just line and length batting him away. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to bed. They're on the 11th. I've got the bloke who's leading and the bloke who's coming second. And I'm pretty confident I'm going to wake up tomorrow with money in my account. And I was right. So good.
Rocket, just to qualify, when he said I've got enough for a pair of shoes, we know what Mike's shoe style is. And, it's top of the tree, Air Jordan. So,
she's no Niblick with the old frilly tongues.
Well, we're going to talk about pump golf shoes in a little bit. I promise you. I'd love a pair of those. I can't afford.
Just on the Minwoo, he was on the Rick Shields podcast this week, and Rick does a deep dive into Min Woo's experience, top to tail at the Masters. It was really good. I'm actually coming around to listening to the Rick Shields podcast. I'm not a big golf podcast listener, hardly listen to any, but I've listened to it and it popped up in the car the other day, and it was really good. It was good to hear Min Woo. I wasn't upset, but to hear Rick Shields claiming Min Woo as the Rick Shields podcast started the Min Woo career, it sort of left a little bit of a burn there, because we all know that, before Min Woo won anything on the European Tour, that the My Love of Golf podcast was the first podcast in podcastery that probably had a round with Min Woo. So, but Rick, of course, you took Min Woo to play.
I tell you what, I would have given anything for the camera footage of that when you listen to it. If we thought you were prickly when Mike said something about PK last week, when Rick mentioned that, how you didn't have a car accident, Tiger Woods style, I don't know.
Look, I'm never going to be able to promise any one of my winning Pro-Am playing partners around at the old course in reverse.
Emphasise winning.
Yes,
partners.
Winning. And there's been numerous. I can never promise them around at the old course in reverse, and that's where Rick's and Min Woo's relationship was forged, and rightly so. And but we love Min Woo, and it was a great podcast. So go and listen to it if you want to hear Min talking about his experience there, and just how excited it was for the young man. Go and listen to it. It's quality young man, and Rick's right into it. Go and listen to it. It's really good. Min Woo, we'll catch up with you one day on the golf course somewhere, I'm sure. Anyway, Greg Norman, from Min Woo to Greg Norman. This 30 for 30 ESPN all happened before Min Woo Lee was born. Probably Mike in 1996. So, the 30 for 30 starts with, Greg's story from a young man right through and finishes with that 1996 Masters scenario. How old were you in 1996, Mike?
I was in uni, so 20, 21 max.
Okay. Yeah. So it was in your. Were you golfing then, or not really?
Yeah, I really was just starting to play golf because I'd finished playing footy and was then working in pubs. And when you're working in pubs and you've got Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, there's not a lot to do because your mates are all at work. So I started playing golf. But yeah, it's tricky because I know Rocket at the start, or before we started recording, you were talking a bit about people and how your feelings were. And I've heard so many people talk about bringing up so much emotion by watching that. And for me, it doesn't, because this is last week, Ross was going to bash me and now Rocket's going to bash me. I've never been a Greg Norman fan. He just was not my vintage. So I knew the stories, but what was really good about it was a bit more context behind it, and it gave me kind of a different lens. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, the guy, like we talked about before, he did The Last Dance. He's clearly very good at telling a story, and I thought it was very good.
Yeah, for me, listening to Jason here talk the other day, one of the things that impressed me was just the amount of time that Greg gave to them in being able to share the story and tell it, like multiple, 3-hour sit downs over dinner, just with Greg and him, and none of Greg's management or minder type people were there. It was just, he had full access to Greg directly. Really good. I thought the Shark came over. It was a different side of Shark that I think we saw in that, Rocket. I don't know what you think, but, I know the story of Greg from when he was a young fella up in Queensland, and then in getting taught, and then moving to Brisbane, playing at Virginia and all of that. And, I can't really remember, those sort of 70s Oz Opens and that sort of thing. But, seeing the vision there, I've seen that before, and it was great to see, the names on the leaderboard. W Dunk, Billy Dunk, another New South Wales. I had a playing lesson off Billy Dunk, but just to see that Greg playing then and Billy Dunk and all that just brought back so many great memories of that time. But then the Masters experience starts with the 86 Masters. And I think when we talked about favourite Masters moments a couple of weeks ago, I recited the 86 Masters as my favourite Masters moment. That was, of course, when Jack won. Jack had some great things to say, or it was a good story that he told around when he met Greg and played in the Masters with him and sort of tried to calm his nerves and all of that sort of stuff. And then it just went through the next period of Greg's Masters journey. Rocket, you're probably far better qualified to talk on any of this than us. So, what was your take on the 30 for 30?
It opened up a lot of old wounds. Because for me, like the reason I play golf is because of that man. Everyone's heard me like bash him because of what he does now. So I can show I'm not completely biased because I do it to Mickelson and the others, but the Shark, the golfer, is the reason I got into the game. And I rode, if you call it from 86 onwards, I rode every shot, like every shot, not just one or two. There's a lot of pain that goes from 86 to 96, a lot of pain. And I know it almost off by heart because there is a listener who asked me a few things and I rattled off basically all the heartache in majors from 84 through to 99. And even though the show centered on the Masters and his, we'll call it what it means to him, but also what it's meant to the game, because it's obviously the side of probably one of the, you can only call it probably the greatest collapse in golf history, not just the Masters, anywhere. Because it was like this, they painted the story. I won't go all over it again. It's like everyone expecting the coronation and, the storytelling behind it, those little bits and pieces in terms of all the things that had happened on the Saturday moving into it, which is quite interesting because that flies in the face of what Greg's story was originally. Because he talked about his back and it wasn't his back. Because I thought he played all right, but it was just there was these things. And the Masters as well. And there was, I think it was it Peter Costas Peter Costas made the really, really good point when he talked about, he gets, people pull off these amazing things to defeat him, but his play in the final 9 or that 18 holes puts himself in that position rather than him closing it and finishing it off. He puts himself in that position. And if they just talked about the Masters, they did bring up the one which was around the PGA, but and I remember that one really well.
That's when Bob Tway holed out of the bunker. No,
here's the other thing. Bear with me. Mrs. Rocket's trying to call me. She's in Melbourne. So here's the thing: is it's not just Augusta that has skeletons for him. It's Shinnecock Hills because it's 86 and 95. They didn't touch on 95. 95 was another heartbreaker. Inverness, 86, Bob Tway, 93 again. So it's almost like he's gone back to the scene of the crime to try and rectify it, and he's left there's another murder scene. He should have won 93 in a canter, but he blew it. The one that Peter Costas talked about, he shot 40 on the back 9. Actually, no, it was 86. He shot 40 on the back 9. He did something similar in 93. It was ridiculous. It's thrown away. And there's heaps of them. I could go on and on. All the 86 ones. You talk about the 87 Masters. He had the 54-hole lead. You could fast forward into 89 Masters. People, they didn't talk about that one as well. So he was tied with Faldo playing the last hole. Faldo was already in the clubhouse. All he has to do is make par to make the playoff. And he chunks it, and then he chunks his chip and misses the putt and misses the playoff by 1. Like, then you go 89 Open, where he shoots the 64 in the final round at Troon, has a 2-shot lead with 2 to play on the 4-hole playoff. 3 putts 17, and then takes driver and drives it in the bunker and then blades it out of bounds. Loses to Calcavecchia. Like, it's ridiculous. Then you can go 90 Open Championship against Faldo. They're both tied for the lead, going 36 holes. He shoots 76, and Faldo shoots 67 in the third round. US Open 1990. He was one back playing the 14th hole, par 5. Nearly, instead of going for the green with a 3-wood, he tries to lay up like everyone tells him should do, and he nearly hosels it into the trees and makes bogey. I could go on and on and on. But there's like, he put himself. Here's the thing: is like he legitimately is a choker. Like it's you don't put yourself in the position of nearly 15 odd majors and walk away with 2. And not just coming from behind. We're talking about he had the lead in probably 12 of those, and you close 2. Like that's choking. Like that's legit choking. But we talked about this one way back. How many times has Faldo contended in majors? Very rarely, but he got the job done. Sure, it was like a lot of the times was people basically just, falling over themselves and throwing up in bunkers and stuff like that. So he didn't, except for a couple of them, he took by the scruff of the neck. The rest of them was him just grinding people down until they fell over, which he did to the Shark. But he won 6. But the thing is, though, he doesn't have another 10 where he's contended, where the Shark, even through absolute adversity, continued to put himself in a position to win over and over and over and over again. And go back. Like, this is the one point that I don't think anyone, I think he's mentally weak, but mentally strong at the same time. It sounds really stupid, but trying to get the win done, even though he won 80 times around the world majors, I don't know what it is. But at the same time, think about the adversity that he faced and suffered and still continued to put himself in that position. You go this, 86 PGA, Bob Tway holds a bunker shot. The very next major, 87 Masters, Larry Mize holds a chip shot. Like, that's back to back. Like, show me somewhere else where that's happened. Then you could fast forward to 1990. You have in Bay Hill Invitational. I don't know which one was first. No, it was David Frost was first. Actually, no, goes back. Norman chips one in at Doral. That was the one where he had that little thing about don't let these bastards, don't let Greg win this thing. That was the one on the clip. So you think, oh, finally, Greg's chipped one in. It's one back. 3 weeks later, David Frost holds a bunker shot to beat him by 1. A couple of weeks after that, Robert Gomez holds a 7-iron from the fairway to beat him by 1 at Bay Hill. Like, can you, like, it just, if you just put it into that context, it's unbelievable the things that happened to him. Yes, the majors were a lot of his own doing, but even just the tour events, they weren't of his doing. Like, it's just.
It was interesting, the events that you talked around 96 when you said, oh, he's back in the day. But, it was good to hear that, he didn't, well, not good to hear, but you know what I mean? Like, he had learned about his wife, Laura, flying up a group of his friends on the plane. And, as it turns out, that the reason how he found out about it was his pilot, rang him and said, what time, whatever he said, what time do you want me to bring these people around? It was like, hang on, you're flying them up there and I haven't won the thing. And then,
God, Costas, that was the undoing.
Costas had to blow up, had the chat, which he thought was off the record with another journalist who basically then sort of went out and said, Greg's a choker. And then Greg rang the broadcast
Frank Shakinigan.
Yeah, Frank Shakinigan, and said, I'll come down and get Peter Costas or whatever he said. And, rightly so, Peter Costas says, well, it was off the record, but, if he's worried about that, he's got more things to worry about than me saying that. And what else? What's the other one? Oh, and then the English journo telling him, not even you could stuff this up, Greg. Imagine sleeping on that, Anyway.
Oh, it's diabolical.
But
I think for me that and Rocker, it inside out. But for me, as someone very much peripheral to it, you sort of sit there and go, it is a little bit glass half full, glass half empty. Like, it's, do you say how amazing was this guy for how long he was at world number one and the best in the world and getting himself in contention so much, like unheard of. As much as you talk about the fact that all the near misses, all the chokes, it's just which one do you want to remember him for, I guess. And that was probably the big thing for me, was not understanding probably that. And then that one thing, the one image that from the whole show was him walking away from the first tee at Augusta, walking back solo towards the clubhouse
after the ceremonial tee shot.
That was like such good vision. That was just so good.
Well, he's on the outside of the ropes because, you have to have a green jacket stand inside the ropes. So, yeah.
No, but have you heard the no laying up one with the Jason when he talked about that shot?
When he was watching just the shot, not where the ball went. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but had the video camera trained on the shark and noticed that he didn't move his head for the shot.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to give it to the cameraman to see that and then just go.
So that
just stay on it.
Was that I'm guessing that was the Masters with a very, very limited number of patrons, because it wouldn't have been the one with no one there. So I'm guessing it was the Hideki win.
No, it would have been the DJ one, 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know that he said in the
because it didn't look like there were many people around. No, there.
It didn't. That was the thing. Him walking away by himself, for me, just the imagery and that was just amazing. Yeah. Picture told 1,000 words there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, Greg is Greg, and Rocket. He was someone that you looked up to and admired, and as he was for a generation of
still do. It's my shark. Everyone knows I'm synonymous with my shark head cover. I'm the boys from Old Salty are holding on to a bloody Tour Edition bag for me because I bought Tour Edition irons. It's just I can't get away from it. As many bad things as the dude might do, he's still part of my soul, my golfing soul.
Do you think that Greg was one of the, I guess, central reasons why golf has become what it is today? He commercialized more things in and around golf, in and around himself, outside of golf, that paved the way for Tiger, who was the next phenom of a golfing ability sense, to be able to take the playbook that Greg has essentially written and then just explode it and expand it from there.
Yeah, it was everything, right? So because golf in Australia exploded off the back of the shark. You only have to see when he turned up at tournaments. As soon as he wasn't playing in Australian tournaments, that's when we struggled. That's when the viewership struggled and the sponsorship struggled and things like that. Yeah. He was just purely a bums on seats man, right? It didn't matter where he was playing or finishing.
Yeah.
When the shark played, it was all eyes on the shark. It's as simple as that.
I remember going to a Heineken Classic. I think it was a Heineken because it was at RM, and I remember the cars pulling into the car park and we were standing at the range, and I think I was watching Ernie Els or somebody, and Shark pulled up in his Holden, his driver pulled up, and 50 people just went over to hit him up for sign something. It was like, Tiger turning up today, it was just everyone wanted a piece of him. It was unbelievable. Easily the biggest name there. And he wasn't the biggest name, you know what I mean? Like at that time, Ernie Els was probably the biggest name, but Shark was still, he was one people wanted to go and see. And this must have been mid-2000 something.
Yeah, I think it was like 2002.
Yeah.
Around about then. Is that the one where Steve Bracks called Ernie Els Ernie Eels? And
Ernie Eels would be right around there. Wow.
He'd had a few too many sponsors products and said the winner is Ernie Eels.
Ernie won, what did he win? Nearly every time they ran it, the Heineken, he won it, didn't he?
Yeah. Stevie Bracks. Yeah. He really paved the way for the commercialization of the sport and it
wasn't just that. It was also he became, it's the branding, it's the, being being something, a character, or turning yourself into a brand that you can market and make money yourself. And that's the other thing. It's like he showed them how there was what Jack Nicklaus was doing, which was kind of just one of those organic things. But the Shark has gone like true to his moniker, Tack Life, and he's just gone at this thing 100 miles an hour and showed how he could take control of his own brand and expand off that and leverage that as to best of his ability to be able to create opportunities for himself. And he's created a massive career post golf. I made the comment, someone goes, has Shark wasted his talent? If you put it in a strokes gained parlance, in life, he's +5 strokes gained in life. He's probably -2 strokes gained in talent on the golf course in terms of what he extracted out of it. But he's ahead.
Yeah.
He's ahead. And that's why he gets there and someone goes, you got any regrets? Would you like to take it back? There's probably deep down, there'd be one little part of him going, I'd trade something to have a green jacket. But at the same time, if he trades it, does he not have all the other stuff? Or does something else change that just makes his life a misery?
Well, the other part that we could probably talk about the 30 for 30 and all of those events. And Rocket, you just once again blow me, but more so blow the listeners away with your ability to pull out those bits of information with almanac-like recall on all of those events. And he did salute at the Open after some of those events. He did play some golf, really good golf after the 96 Masters. He nearly won the Open at 2008?
Yeah, there was that one.
Yeah,
but that was No, he should have won the Masters in '99 playing with Jose in the final round. He was tied for the lead with like 12 holes to go and blew up.
Might win the Open this year.
Well, we come to talk about commercialization and what he's done, and it's now what he continues to want to do for the golf game of golf and growing it in his terms. Rocket, you have got your opinion on how he's partnered up with Live Golf, and that's part of with the Saudi government and the Saudi money and all of that sort of thing. He wants to play at the Open. He's being. I don't think that's going to happen. Is that confirmed that it's not going to happen?
They won't be giving him a special exemption. They've said that, the R&A.
Yeah.
So the only way he can get in is if he qualifies. And I think he hasn't said it officially, but I believe he's made it clear that he won't be going to a
qualifying event. So,
and he wouldn't get close.
Is that PR? Is that a?
I don't know. It's just Shark being Shark.
Yeah,
it's just silly.
So we're on a month away from the kickoff of his event in London.
Yep.
Which seems to be gathering. We were joking the other week that he's signed Robbie Garrigus, and but seems to be on the cusp of announcing a few other reasonably sizable names.
Well, here's the thing: is it's not going to be so much about who's signed to play; it's actually just going to who's playing.
Who plays? Yeah, who plays?
Yeah. So here's the thing: he's going to get a lot of the European guys, right? Because they're not really wedded to anything. They'll still play Europe, but the fact that it's being played in London, they're going to play it, right? And especially when you think about the call it the softness of the European tour in terms of purses and stuff like that, it's going to be a no-brainer. And then you've got Mickelson, who's already put in his little submission. Got Sergio there. I'm pretty sure that Sergio is there.
Yep.
So Phil's advisors can leverage off Sergio's advisors because Phil has a lot of work to be done. So I don't, they've done a lot of work with JT over the last 12 to 18 months. So Sergio's advisors, I think they're going to be on some decent retainers. Anyone thinks the prize money for the event's going to be big. Just think about the PR retainer to try and salvage Mickelson's reputation.
He's in trouble. I know the reports have come out that they've got 15 of the top 100. I've gone through the list. I reckon I've got the 15.
Mike, have you gone through the schedule of the Live Golf events and just see where they're sort of back?
They don't have one. They've given us ballpark numbers and dates. The only ones that are locked in, that they've announced, is this one in London, And then they announced this week the final, which is some 4-man weirdo event in October.
Okay.
Yeah, Trump Doral.
For 50 million prize money.
Yeah, I think it's
2.5 times what the players was.
I think what's this, because it's teams event, it's going to be split. I think it's something like 16 million for first place, split ways, 4 million apiece.
8-tournament series will feature a 4-round. Sorry, it's an 8-tournament series now. The final event will be a 4-round match play knockout tournament featuring 12 teams competing for 50 million. The winners will share 16 million, 4 million each, with second place team splitting 10 and third 8. And they're playing Doral.
Not a bad 4 million each for your team.
That's bananas. That's stupid money.
Yeah.
And like we said, we know of the 15, we know, well, we're pretty sure Mickelson, Poulter, Westwood, Sergio, Kokrak,
probably
Rose.
Lowry.
Oh, I don't know about Lowry.
I reckon he'll do it.
But then I went through the top 100. You're throwing guys that are playing currently on the Asian tour, Ju Young Kim, Chan Kim, a couple from Japan. They make sense that they might be playing on an Asian tour. And then I sort of had a look at guys like Richard Bland. Richard Bland's, he's in his twilight, he's playing great golf. But if someone said he's a truckload of cash, you'd be mad not to take it. Guys like Sean Norris, a couple of guys from South Africa that are playing on the Euros, who I wouldn't be surprised. But I'd be very surprised if, and I know once upon a time there was rumours that it might be Leash, and I'd be very surprised if they had one of those guys sign on.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to see who does end up filling that field in June in London. And
just for your very good memory, Ross, Heineken Classic 2002.
Yeah.
Here's the top 10, and I'll give you a couple of notables. Winner, Ernie Els. Second, tied, Chuck Fowler, David Howell, and Peter O'Malley. Michael Campbell, 5th. Nick Faldo, Stephen Leaney, and Greg Norman tied for 6th. Greg Owen, Craig Popeye Parry, T9. Then you got Immelman, Laycock, Wall, Freddie Jacobson, Jared Mosley, Adam Scott, Mark Allen, Scott Hend. So many names.
What a fit!
The judge.
Who's the judge?
David Smell.
Right. I remember being there. I was there. I went to that last day. I remember diving in and out the tea tree at Royal Melbourne, trying to cut through fairways from fairway to fairway.
Yeah, Paul Sheehan. I remember going because I'm pretty sure it was there, and it was round 1. It was Badley, Scott, and Rose were all partnered together as these new young kids that were going to be big on tour, and Poulter was playing too. It might have been mixing a few years up, but I remember following Bads, Scott, and Rose around for a long time.
That'd have been like 01. 02.
Yeah, I'd have to look it back up, but yeah.
Because Bads didn't turn pro till...
Well, that was 02, so I'll have a look at 01.
2000, I think it was, because he won the Aussie Open in 99 as an amateur and then defended in 2000 as a pro. And Adam Scott he turned pro in... He only won the Aussie Junior in 95, 97, 6... I think he spent 1 year at UNLV. So I think he turned pro around about the same time, 99.
Okay.
2000 and played in Europe.
Well, that was the thing. He went there and Bads was ready to take on Tiger.
Do you remember the crowd at that Heineken? Like, there was stacks of people there.
There was heaps. The one thing, this is the funniest thing, right? And I still think about this today. I don't think it was a Heineken. It was another event I was watching at RM. I think it was RM. My memory is not the best of me, but we're following John Daly, and it was in Melbourne, so I knew it wasn't up at Queensland. And we were standing behind him, and he was pitching this ball over this flop shot over the bunker, and he was trying to get it to hit the green and then roll out. And as he hit it, it was going to be short, and I said, "Get up," and it didn't quite get over, and it went in the bunker. And this guy in front of me turned around, and he looked at me, angriest man you've ever seen, and he said, "It's get down, not get up. It's supposed to get down in the hole." And I'm looking at this bloke like, is this guy joking? He wants to literally punch on because he thinks I should have said get down and not get up. My brother and I looked at each other like we're about to come into fisticuffs and punch on with this bloke because I said the wrong thing. And I didn't say the wrong thing. It was so weird.
I bet you he's got a chipper in his bag.
Daily.
No, the guy, that bloke.
Daly had about 10 packs of smokes and about 18 like cans of Diet Coke. Yeah.
He sounds like a chipper kind of guy.
Diet Cokes and darts. That's all he had.
Yeah, that's it. And a chipper.
Yep.
And iron covers.
Did you go and see Tiger when he was in town in 1996 at Huntingdale?
No, not 96. No.
I think it was 96.
96. No.
97?
No, 96. Cup, 96 was the Australian Open at the Australian, where he finished.
So what was
that was his first pro event in Australia was the Australian Open in 96, which was that the one Elk won?
Well, he played it. When did he play at Huntingdale?
I think that was 97, 98.
Could be 97,
that was the Australian Masters. That was the Australian Masters. One of the last ones they played at Huntingdale before they moved it.
Okay, yeah, must have been 97. It was Huntingdale, yeah. It was Huntingdale, and I remember going to see him. I took my grandma.
Yeah, because I think they paid more than $500,000 or $1 million for him to come and play the Australian Open in 96. And then I think they did likewise for him to come back and play the Masters. I can't remember if it was 97 or it was 98. I think it might have been.
It wasn't.
Might have been 97.
It wasn't 98. I just remember it through relationship years. But I'll never forget the first time I saw Tiger Woods hit a golf ball on the 10th at bloody Huntingdale. Unbelievable. Gents, anything else we need to cover off? Any other housekeepings?
No. Euro Tour's still in Spain again this week.
The women's event at the at Palos Verdes. It's supposed to be, I call that one another one of my events to watch this week. Don't watch rather be pulling white hairs out of my chest cup down in Mexico. Watch the women's event.
You can also catch the New South Wales Women's Open, which has been played up at Coolangatta Tweed this weekend. And I see that the trophy has been named in honour of Jan Stevenson, which is a very nice...
rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. We talk about Shark, we talk about Jan Stevenson and her contribution to, putting Australian golf on the map and women's golf on the map,
Actually, just women's golf on the map. I think she was an absolute trailblazer.
Absolutely was. And
I don't think she gets the respect for that.
Yep.
It's
definitely.
Funny,
Go on.
I was just going to say, I was looking at the list of the New South Wales Open today, and the person is the absolute red hot favourite. I didn't know who it was. I don't know the name. You might know it. I definitely don't know it.
What was the name?
Marja Stark. Maja Stark. She's literally the absolute red hot favourite. $3.75 to win. I didn't know the name. I mean, I knew a few names: Janeth Wong, Cassie Porter.
Janeth, Victorian. Yeah. She's a Malaysian Australian amateur.
As I went down the list, there was Stephanie Bunky's there. A lot of the names I knew, but I didn't know the person who's the favourite. Never heard of them. Not saying that they're not the quite right favourite. I just wouldn't have had a clue.
So she's a LET player?
Must be.
There's a few LET and
Swedish professional golfer.
Yeah, there's a few LET and LET access players that have made the journey out to come and play. But there's a lot of local girls there. Casey Wilde, I met Casey, she's a young girl from Melbourne. Katrina, so there's a whole heap of names here that I don't know. Katrina Gillam, Maria Jerez Galvez. I know that name. She's a good player from Spain. the young Indian lady, Dilawri. Amy Boulden from Wales, great young player. Holly Clyburn.
Kirsten Rudgley, she could be worth $1 each way.
Oh, she's going to be a great golfer. We've said that before, and we'll continue to say that.
Yeah.
Gabrielle McDonald, she's playing, missed the cut last week. I was disappointed for Gabrielle, missed the cut by a shot. Disappointing. Megan McLaren, will she back up? Yeah, it was good to see Megan McLaren win. She loves it here in Australia. She's won numerous times. Good field. It's a good test for the Aussie girls to get up against the LET women. So if you want to watch that, it'll be on TV. Coverage, they've got obviously less cameras. It's not PGA Tour level camera coverage, but give it a watch and support the women's golf because they're playing quality golf. The women, so really good. Be interesting to see the course up there. Hopefully the weather holds out. It's looking pretty good. Whether you're the one that's going to get the bad weather this week, Mike, for the not the WPGA but the GMGA.
GMGA
Tour final. Interesting time of year to have a tour final at the end of the sort of.
It's normally first week of April, but with COVID we got pushed back. So it's normally just before Easter.
So basically,
actually normally Masters week.
And then when does it kick back up? So you basically have the winter and footy season off, right?
Yeah, well, we do. We have the first round will be the first week of October after the AFL final, and then we play 10 rounds between then and the first week of April. But 2 years ago, we introduced a Claret Jug Open Championship event. So it has to be played at a link style course, has to be, and you pay your entry fee to play and $50 on top, and all that money goes into the pool, and we pay prize money from there.
Where's it at this year?
Moonalinks Open.
Okay.
It'll be on US Open weekend. So we basically try to find the worst conditions we can get. So it's going to be proper Open Championship style, and we play off as far back as they let us play.
It's one you should be playing down the dunes. That'd be the perfect one to be off the blacks.
The dunes is tricky because they won't let us play off the back at Moonalinks. The Moonalinks back plates, they only open up once a month. And if we played off that, there'd be blokes coming in with 10 points.
No, but what about dunes though?
Yeah, the dunes won't. The dunes on weekends most of the time has split tees, 2 tee times.
Oh,
it's always tricky because most of the time, obviously, they've got a membership base that wants to play Saturday mornings, and we want to play sort of Saturday and then head back to town and have dinner. So it makes it tricky. But yeah, that's always on the rotation at some point during the year. We always end up going
on the rotor.
On the rotor.
On the championship rotor.
It's funny. We mix it up.
St Andrews Beach, dunes, Moona.
Flinders is always, as it comes along, Curlewis on the other side and Lonsdale.
Maybe a bit of renovated Rosebud, maybe, a bit of.
Haven't played
we'll call it the Heathland style, maybe.
No, we go everywhere. We go Gisborne. We've had trips to Yarrawonga. We've done a Barnbougle trip. We've done all sorts of stuff for the games over 10 years. It's been great. Daniel O'Neill has done a very good job. Diesel listens, so well done, Diesel.
Well done, Diesel. How do you get into the GMGA? It's by invite. It's like a secret men's. Got to have another handshake.
You need. It's the same as a normal club. You need 3 members to put you forward, and effectively you need to. Well, GM stands for Great Men, so it's a Great Men Golf Association. You need to basically be going to play. So we don't want someone that's going to sort of play once in a blue moon. We want you to be involved and get involved. And then if we're going to do things like nothing worse than someone introducing a member and then they play once or they turn up, but as soon as their round's over, they're gone. They don't hang around for the results and things like that. So it's just little things like that the person would need to do. But knowing a couple of people obviously helps because it's hard to start with. You wouldn't have someone that no one knows coming in. Makes it pretty hard.
So you have to be a great man. That's the precursor. You've got to fill the GM part of the.
It's a low base from some of the blokes that are in the set, but yeah.
Very good. Gents, as always, it's been an hour and a half of power. Great to catch up with you.
Hour and a half. Holy cow. The shark, right? The shark consumes a bit of stuff and Sergeant Brennan, Sergeant Brennan, he's just can't get away. He returns.
You wind us up and we keep going. Gents, I'll look forward to catching up with you next week with, I'm sure there'll be some other goings on in the world of golf for the week. If you've got this far, thanks for listening. Give us a like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Mike's putting some more stuff out on Twitter. So, he put a few video clips out. Mike, you're in charge of that now. That's official. You're in charge of the clipping and sending that out. Rocket, we need to find a few little extra duties for you.
Ross is going to get the list of names so we can draw out a winner for Cheese Week.
I'm probably going to be more likely I'll write stuff. That's probably a bit more my jam.
Okay, good. Okay, it's coming together. Very good.
I got one wee rabbit hole really quickly.
Oh, hello.
For everyone, for the listeners, I've become addicted to this guy because he used to be an investigative journalist for Vice. Look up Johnny Harris, but the particular topic is why McDonald's ice cream machines break down. Just watch that one to start with, and you'll get the gist of what he does, and then just go back to his other catalog of videos, and you'll be hooked. It's great. It is great YouTube watching.
Johnny Harris.
Yep. Just look up Johnny Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Why McDonald's ice cream machines break down. Just watch that video alone. Because I think that's just everyone's experienced the McDonald's ice cream machine breaking down. I never thought 15 minutes could be so entertaining watching about why McDonald's ice cream machines break down. It's awesome. And you'll get sucked into the rest of his catalog.
Rocket, another nugget of gold for you to drop. A bit of bomb work there. Thank you very much. Gents, women's, everybody who listens all around the world, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week.